Now, one of the main reasons that a lot of people dislike this whole diversity, inclusivity, and equity thing is that the people pushing it are some of the worst liars and gaslighters that the internet has ever seen. What I mean by this is started since Gamergate, right? There were a lot of gamers that were upset, and they were very diverse. I mean, for the first time in the history of the internet, you had 4chan and Tumblr working together on the same cause. And they were gaslighting, saying that it's only angry white men that are against video game journalists and they don't like activists. But in reality, there were many black people, there were many women, right? But they kept gaslighting. And this is what they always do when they want to sweep some criticism under the rug. It's like, well, it's from angry white men, so if it's from angry white men, anything they say can be dismissed. And now they're doing it the same with Yasuke from Assassin's Creed. Like, this is such a powerful character. It actually managed to change history on Wikipedia. They locked the website. There's absolutely no reference outside of like Western literature that Yasuke was a samurai. But apparently, like, that doesn't matter if you even bring that criticism up. Like, they're not going to take it into consideration. So what they're doing now is they're saying that actually Japanese people aren't upset about the game, and it's only due to Westerners. Now, due to the nature of the game I'm making, and I'm actually collaborating with a lot of Japanese people, both artists and voice actresses, they are telling me that no, like on their forums, there are many people that are mocking, ridiculing, belittling, and some people who are outright disappointed in Assassin's Creed. Like, using the word angry is not appropriate because that's not what they are, but they are definitely not interested in buying it. And the only people that you could say are angry, but that, again, like, anger isn't really the thing here. Disappointment would be more likely, are YouTubers from Japan. And now they can't gaslight anymore. They can't say that, oh, it's just some Westerners. Like, first and foremost, you have a petition that is started in Japan, and they're getting a lot of signatures. And you have YouTubers that are Japanese, and they are so desperately to get heard that a couple of YouTubers actually put on a public notice that they want to hire translators in order to translate their video into English. Like, there have been YouTubers that spent an ample amount of time looking at historical text and historical data in order to show that Assassin's Creed Shadows is bullshit. And all the things that they got wrong about Japanese culture. Now you'd say, well, hold on, it's just a video game. And while you're right, it is the Assassin's Creed series. Like, Assassin's Creed back in the day refused to use crossbows because even though they would look cool, and even though it would be nice, they didn't make any historical accuracy, right? Like, that's how they treated the game back then. They had a team of historians that would make absolutely sure that they would get everything right from that culture. And this actually stimulated people who played Assassin's Creed to actually try and learn a little bit about history. That's how I got into reading about history, because I would play Assassin's Creed, I would look at the codex and those little notes that they had, and they talked about historical characters, and some historical characters were actually very interesting, and, you know, it made me want to look more into it. It made me want to see some documentaries, it made me want to read some books. Like, the game actually stimulated you in order to learn about someone's culture, tradition, and history. And it definitely doesn't do that now. Like now, you know, if some random YouTubers from Japan can immediately point out all of the inconsistencies, what are the team of historians that Ubisoft is hiring doing? And the answer is they're not doing much because they're not in charge. So as you can see, again, I disagree that it's anger. I would say it's disappointment. But Ubisoft defenders and even the CEO, yeah, like the CEO of Ubisoft, a grown-ass man, was crying on Twitter because Elon Musk criticized this game. Like, this is where we're at. Just so you can understand the level of maturity from the company that's willing to call the cops on its consumers. It's just... Japanese Assassin's Creed fans view this as their own chance to play as a Japanese man in an Assassin's Creed game. And they were robbed and will never get the chance again. By the way, it's even more than that. It's a question about authenticity. Now, if you guys remember the other video game, which actually was surprisingly a lot more faithful than this, Ghost of Tsushima. In Ghost of Tsushima, in the presentation, Like, if you guys remember that E3 presentation, they had a white guy that was playing like an old Japanese instrument, an old flute. And the progressive freaked the fuck out because it's like, why is it a white man? Why can't it be a Japanese man? Why is it always a white? Whitewashing! Whitewashing! Blah, blah, blah. And it turns out that he was like the only person on Earth that still had mastery over that instrument because it was an ancient instrument and he dedicated his life in order to find like a master which passed of old age. And that was literally what the company said, right? Like, this is the only guy that they could find. So, like, when it comes to authenticity, the left is freaking out about, like, it's super mega duper important. But when Japanese people want the same, nope. You're going to get a black guy with hip-hop music in the background. And we're going to put as low effort as possible into making the game because they cloned Ghost of Tsushima. Like even the UI, down to the fucking UI, they cloned it. Like, you're Ubisoft, you're not some indie studio that can't afford to make a good game, right? And this is, from the trailer, you realize that they do not care about history. I don't even need to see the videos that the Japanese people put out in order for me to know that diversity, inclusivity, and equity is their product. Like, that is the thing that they want to accomplish. That is the goal. The game is secondary. Like, the game is somewhere in the background, maybe. I also like how no one is complaining about the female character with manly jawline, and even ChatGPT, like, no, seriously, do this experiment, it's really fun. Take the face of female characters from modern games that came out after 2022. So, like, the last 3 years or so. You know, you can even go, like, 3 years. So, take the faces of the female characters from AAA gaming, and put them into ChatGPT, and ask ChatGPT to tell you if the character is male or female. It can't fucking do it. Can't do it. It will tell you something like the character is gender ambiguous or it's androgynous. Like, it just can't do it. Now, if you put a man, no, it's a man. Like, they will tell. Sometimes it even gets it wrong. Like, you put a female character and ChatGPT will think that it's a man. I mean, it is what it is. Now, go before 2014 or even, you know, before 2016 and pick any female character you want from a Western AAA game. Repeat the experiment. There is absolutely no way that ChatGPT doesn't understand, yeah, no, this is a female character. This is diversity in action. This is the inclusivity. What faith do I have in the product if they do not care about the market? Because the market doesn't want to see that shit. You know, it's fine if you make one gender ambiguous character, but like literally all of them? Hashtag all? With very few exceptions, I shouldn't say all. You know, and you also have, like, games that are coming from China, South Korea. Those don't count. But anyway, Ubisoft CEO called them racists. I mean, again, like, they think they're the Democratic Party. They think that this is how you solve criticism. They're acting as if their game is perfect. In fact, you know what? It's flawless. It's just this goddamn racist. It's the culture we live in. In fact, I'm willing to bet, like, 200 years in the future, archaeologists that are going to discover from the bowels of the internet the Ubisoft games, they're going to be amazed on how great they are because the culture that is going to be completely different. This is what they believe. You know, when you believe something that has nothing to do with reality, it's called insanity. These people are mental. Ubisoft pandered, but not to the Japanese. They continued to insult them by mixing up plant season and even using Chinese characters for Japanese names. I gotta say, I see even black people upset about this. Guess what? Black people like anime, so they also have some affinity to Japanese culture, and they would have loved to play a game that's authentic without the hip-hop beats on Japanese theme music. My god. The arrogance that Ubisoft wants to have their samurai in a game set in Japan, the touting of historical accuracy, and getting so much wrong. The editing of Wikipedia to lay claim that Yasuke is a samurai. And by the way, no one fucking cares if he's a samurai. Like, even if Yasuke was a samurai, out of all the fucking samurais in Japanese history, like, some of them have entire books written. Some of them have libraries written. You pick, like, the most fringe motherfucker. And usually, by the way, in Assassin's Creed, they don't pick a historical figure. Like, that's the whole shtick. So that you avoid this type of controversy. Like, the whole purpose of being an assassin is that he is lost in history. He's stealthy, right? Like, he manages to maintain anonymity so that the history books don't write about it. Like, I wouldn't have liked to play as George Washington in Assassin's Creed 3. Because then, like, anyone would be like, oh, well, George, I didn't actually do this. Like, hold on, this is not correct, blah, blah, blah. So it's a lot easier to just get a no-name, you know, like some guy that happened to live in Japan and follow his story. But no, like, this has to be it. It has to be a statement. This is Cleopatra, but the video game edition. For those of you who don't know, like, Netflix casted Cleopatra Black and the Egyptian government complained. Getting architecture details wrong, costumes wrong. Again, they didn't used to do this because they had a team of historians. They would actually pay. But they have the competency crisis. They don't have talented people anymore. This is why, when I see what they are doing, I do not have faith in the product. It's not that I can't play a game that has, like, a black character. You know, I can play Elden Ring with a black character just fine. It doesn't fucking affect me, right? But it's a message about what the actual product is. It's a message about the fact that they care more about the ideology than they care about making a good game. Ubisoft CEO calling Japanese who complain malicious and hateful. I mean, seriously, this CEO, my God, I'm going to block him after this. I'm going to find out who he is. Does he have a Twitter account? If he doesn't, I can't block him, and that makes me upset. But I really want to block him now. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.